Where's the best place for content on the world of Ice and Fire?
Right over there. See where I am pointing with my dagger? I just found
Sporking News Podcast with me, Sporking. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh God, I got that interplay thing on and my thing's all messed up because I forgot I turned this off, but I'm here. Welcome. It is election night in Westeros, or probably Essos more like, or the North, we can say, but not really most of Westeros. But it's election night, and most of us are waiting to either see victory or the fall of our nation. So instead of that, let's talk a Song of Ice and Fire, because that end will never come. Zinger.
Well, thank God we've always got the TV ending to fall back on.
You know it. Thank God for that show. But we're going to talk tonight. Is there democracy in Westeros? I think a couple of us, the people usually in the chat are pretty in tune to what's going on in A Song of Ice and Fire. So I want you in the chat to tell me who has the closest elections to democracy, or even like a republic democracy, an elected official. And is it a democracy after the election? But who do you think comes short or comes close where everybody else fails? Tonight with me, we have the lovely Tina Bojan.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful night. I'm nervous AF, but I'm just going to talk about and think about Westeros for now.
Amen. Thank you for being here. And below her is Sir Gregory McGrant of House Butterfly Effect. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Happy to talk a bit of Song of Ice and Fire. And yeah, I got a few ideas about what would be considered democratic-ish.
Democratic-ish. I like that idea. Thank you for being here. And last, but definitely not least, the one true king, Stig. Baranis Baratheon. I was going to say Kenobi. Baranis. I'm shot, everyone. How are you, sir?
Quite well, and also a bit nervous, given the possible escalation of conflicts happening in the world. My whole fucking country has, it's a whole coast.
Yeah.
Where the Russian Navy would drive past if something happens.
I always wonder, like, how much our
target.
Like our elections, how much do you guys worry about our elections?
Well, usually what we have to deal with is refugees from war started. So we have to pay for them.
Yeah.
And they move in and they bring, their 28 brothers and their kids,
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But if a World War III happens, we happen to be a member of NATO.
Yep.
And like I said, we're a prime target because the whole country is basically one big fat super naval base.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I can imagine.
I can imagine. That's worrisome. We will struggle with more than just, not being able to buy toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, that's why we don't want to talk about it tonight. Tonight, we are going to talk about as I think one man show said, the skullduggery of force of arms. How could Westeros have democracy when most decisions are resolved through skullduggery? I love that word.
Westeros doesn't really have democracy.
No.
Easteros or Essos has.
Yeah, a little closer.
But I think maybe the Maesters.
Well, so like how like the Grand Sept, they're all voted in, but they're voted in by a council. Oh. So would that be considered democratic? The head of the Maesters.
Yeah, and so is like the High Sparrow was voted in by the I'm forgetting their name, like the Council of
so High Septon, yeah.
High Septon.
High Septon is selected by the most devout council of senior clergy members.
Yeah, that's it.
Also, the Iron Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they have the King's Moot.
They vote for it. Yeah,
and
if it's an obvious choice, then they vote.
It's funny because I was seeing people talk about that because while I was doing a little bit of my 5 minutes of research I do for every stream, and people were trying to say, oh, you have to be a lord, this and that. But no, from what I have always read and thought with a King's Moot, you need to be a captain of a ship to be put forward as a potential king of the Iron Islands.
Yeah, it's the military power level you have. Yeah, the King's Moot in the Iron Islands are very much based on how the Vikings did it.
Mm-hmm.
They had moots.
Yep.
So that's where and they are basically Vikings, aren't they?
Yeah.
Explorers. Mostly pirates. I mean, the word Viking means pirate.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. And I was like, let's say hi to the chat real quick. We've already seen a couple from Jane Theory. Wake me up before it goes. One man show is here.
The bastard of the South.
The bastard of Louisiana.
It should be Jane Sand or Jane.
Yeah.
Is it
Jane
Flowers?
Flowers is in the Reach.
Yeah, she's like in that area, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, she's deep south. So
yeah, you probably couldn't say Waters.
No, not Waters. Well, no, Louisiana is on the water. It's on the coast, the Gulf. It's not like Arizona. I would say is more, in New Mexico it would be sand. So yeah, Flowers. Flowers is good. What are they? Old Town would be Flowers also, right? Because they're part of the Reach.
Which is ironic if someone gets deflowered to make a Flowers.
Bing zang.
I guess it's better than Jane's Swamp.
The flower seed is strong.
We have also the lovely Sherry. It's always nice that you support us here, like with One Man Show does, and Adega Outlaw has been showing up now for weeks with our Song of Ice and Fire chat, and I really appreciate that. And Kulnitsky says yo. And one of our new steadies is Kirsty Angel. Thank you for being here. I saw something. Now, I love that Kulnitsky says Night's Watch has a democracy. I go against that. I say it's a true democratic election. Every vote counts. But once the Lord Commander is in, he's like an elective monarch because he could take your life. He makes all the decisions. And if you prove that you are going to break your vow, can they boot you, kill you, or whatever. But until you do that, you are the Lord Commander, and anything against you is a mutiny. What do you guys think about that?
That doesn't necessarily take away from it being democratic. The way in
which election. It's a democratic election. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Martin Music.
It's democratic for life, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one way of.
This is why they need to have terms.
They're like China.
For how long?
Yeah, he's like a senator from America or president in China or Russia.
Hey, Russians have elections. They just never. No one seems to ever run against him. It's weird.
Yeah, they always just fall apart. But there are quite a few. Even in Westeros, you have the Night's Watch, the Klansmen of the Mountains of the Moon. Those guys, they may have different clan chiefs, but when it comes to something that affects all of them, they sit down and debate the topic. We learned that through Tyrion when he's with them. So there's a form of like an elective council, like would that be an oligarchy? I don't know. Oligarchy is always one that gets me. It's like a group of people that run without, there's no like ands, if, or buts. They make the decision. Like, would you say like the what is that book about communism with animals? Animal Farm?
Animal Farm?
They have like
Good.
thank you. I 7th grade pulled back. And it's like they have like a group before like someone becomes the dictator in a way. Like a Stalin-esque. But would that be an oligarchy, like a group of council members that they make the decisions for everyone and what they say is law? Is that an oligarchy? I always
Yes, it
confuse
is.
that. Okay.
It's kind of like what old Valyria was, because not everybody
Yes.
got a vote.
Now everyone
it's like Parliament
Mhm.
in a way, but more primitive.
Yeah, so
and probably more effective.
Oligarchies tend to be hereditary or wealth based. There is a very exclusive governance over its people, and there's very limited participation or power. That's
Okay.
the main three things with an oligarchy.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily have to run hereditary. It could be based through war as well. Like the transfer of power is kind of actually really irrelevant, but it just seems most of the oligarchies are either wealth based or hereditary based.
Okay.
So much like the Roman Senate.
Yeah.
So you would okay. See, I thought that was closer to a republic. They weren't voted in
You're
for their
talking about the
seat.
Senate.
No, the Senate
gets
itself.
elected. Not
Yeah.
any of the other leaders, just the Senate itself.
Yeah, the Senate of Rome. They are aren't they voted in, or are they given by birth?
Not by birth, by status.
By status. Okay.
Their positions are gifted.
Yeah,
they are okay.
Julius Caesar.
Yep.
What has he done lately?
Yeah.
I don't know. It took
the worst thing they did was kill him. That caused them having more dictators after that.
Yeah, he went against the mainstream media.
Yeah, he did. I mean, okay, Trump is no, I'm not going to go there. So let's just stick to Westeros right now. We have the King's Moot, where if you are a captain, you can put your name in, and then only the captains get to vote on who they want as the king. So that's more like a like you have to have like a land ownership right to vote type thing.
Yeah.
Which I guess is an oligarchy if you think about it.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't know. So
similar to like the triarchy. They're basically the exact same sort of rules.
Right.
With them. So
right, for Volantis, the triarchy?
Yeah, only the captains have a say.
Right. Okay. And we're going to go to Volantis and talk about them with their tigers and elephants and stuff like that. They're almost they're almost a two-party system over in Volantis. So we have the King's Moot, we have the Night's Watch, we have the Faith, who elects, kind of following like more of a Roman Catholic choosing of a pope.
And the mercenary companies, maybe the Second Sons, and maybe
that's true,
because I think they choose a leader.
Mm-hmm.
They get assassinated and whatnot by the other ones, but it's still
doesn't
of it.
Doesn't Daros like chop off the heads of the other two leaders?
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, that was that was a gift though.
Yeah, well, he got to
that was so he could be the head of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck
you
the queen.
Now is the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, is he raised by the king, or is it decided between the Kingsguard? I always forget that. Is that an appointed position by the king, correct? Doesn't Joffrey appoint his uncle after firing Thelmy?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a different one. The Maesters, I consider them more of an academic.
It's like a school board,
right?
Or, the Vatican, maybe.
Yeah, they send their Archmaester to the king. The king doesn't pick them, so they're in control of that nod. But that doesn't make the Archmaester the almighty voice for the Maesters. They debate and it's more like academia. It's more like you have to be in the group or your vote doesn't count. We learned that through Sam talking to Maester. Oh God, the one that was new, the Lamb woman, Maester. You know, in the fifth book. Anyone?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Can't remember.
Margaret? No. If anybody remembers, let me know. Before we move on, let's see. One Man Show says, wouldn't the Maesters be an oligarchy? I guess they would, because it's like you have a certain group of learned Maesters that pretty much tell everybody else what to do. And they're not.
It wouldn't be an oligarchy because it doesn't fit the primary things
Right.
that an oligarchy needs.
I think it's more of like just an academic, like hierarchy in a way.
Oh, you have 2 super chats. You're getting rich.
Oh wow! Hey, I'm not used to looking for those. Hold on. Gene,
since I found them, that means
Marwin.
Mine.
It's Mr. Marwin.
There you go. Here we go. The first one is from the lovely and beautiful Mad Cheesemo for $5. Sorry, I can't come on tonight. Was already promised to Brahma and Carrie Smith. Yeah, Brahma invited me. I might stop in after this to just say hello. So you're not special. Thank you for $5 though, Mr. Name Dropper. And the lovely Jane Theory. The neck is the swamp, so that be Louisiana. Yeah, that's my wife's grandmother. She's kind of a gnarly,
Jane,
real quick, gnarly old woman, and she hates Louisiana for some reason. Just the whole state. She calls it Louisiana.
So Jane is a swamp ass witch.
Oh, that's great.
A good one.
I'm gonna add that to the bastard.
Yes, the bastard. Yes, the neck
swamp
is
not witch bastard.
Would they be snow? Would that bastards be snow?
In the
then?
neck, they would be snow. Yeah, because they are the most southern part of the north. You have to go through Moat Cailin to get into the neck, which is this part of the north, because House Reed is a bannerman of the Starks, so she is correct. Yeah. So you would be Jane Snow, but we'll call you Jane Swamp.
Yeah.
Kirsty says the Watch's voting system, is based on the Papal Conclave. Makes me think it was originally or is connected to the faith of the Seven. I think the Maesters, the faith, are more connected, and then it's almost like the Night's Watch and not the King's Guard maybe, but the Night's Watch is connected to all, but not representative of any. Like they depend completely on everybody else, but they don't get involved.
They do have a Maester up there though, so maybe the Maester used their system as a basis for how they do it at the Night's Watch, maybe way back in the day.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just a natural progression with the idea that in most cases, it doesn't matter what your status was when you enter the Night's Watch.
Correct.
Everybody kind of starts at the same level. Now, of course, if you happen to be,
from a high house,
exactly, you might get a higher position just kind of as a nod to that house for future support, but it should theoretically all be.
Yeah,
actually, an excellent point, because their past is left behind.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
They are kind of all equal at the wall.
Kind of, but you see that, like, right from jump, you see that, oh God, I always forget that poor bastard's name that dies.
It's the WM that I can't remember, because I always think
Wymore Royce. Thank you.
Okay.
Wymore Royce. He was only there for a few months and was already given like a lead for arranging because he comes from a dignified and distinguished old house. But Kolnitsky is more correct. It's a true democracy because everyone's vote counts. I see why Kirsty said,
everyone
like,
that's there.
well, I see why Kirsty said conclave, because they keep voting until someone gets a certain number, like in a conclave, but it's a more direct democracy.
Another reason why noble people get a bit more special treatment is that they are actually trained to fight and trained in military tactics, and they have an education. While, you know, a baker's boy or whatever doesn't have that advantage with him when he joins. So they're basically the noblemen are basically at a higher level when they join. Maybe.
Right.
I think that might make sense, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a post on the forum of Ice and Fire that says, when an organization votes in a leader using the majority consensus, then the leader is democratically elected. However, it actually takes more than a democracy to win the head of the Night's Watch, because they said they need a 2/3 majority. I
Yes.
remember that from the books.
Yes, because there was multiple. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So if that's the case, then it's really a limited republic and not necessarily a democracy, if you want to be letter to the rule.
Okay, because a democracy is it one vote over you win. But yeah, you're right, because there was multiple votings where Sam was going around without John's knowledge and gaining support for John. So they had, I think, at least 3 votes for John becoming Lord Commander.
So Sam was basically like a lobbyist.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. He just didn't have the money to give him. Adega Outlaw, $1.99. I haven't done this quick so long. Feels good. Thank you, Adega. Just thank you for not doing politics tonight. You know what? I was talking to somebody, you guys, I think, and I was like, I don't know if I should do a political stream or not. And it's like, one of you guys said, I think it was you, Grant, like people need something other than this tonight, you know, other than the whole, end of the world, fire and brimstone bullshit that we've come to know as the presidential election in America. So yeah, no matter what, us staring at the screen ain't going to change it. So stare at this screen, and I appreciate the $1.99, buddy. Starks do get special treatment in the Night's Watch. Any northern or respected old house does. I mean, you got the Royces in the Erie, not even like the Aarons. They're like I would say the second biggest house in the Erie. They have the gate of the Bloody Gate or the Gate of the Moon, one of those two, that they control. And you see how he gets treated well, because they probably gave gifts of money and supplies when he got there.
Not just that, as Stig said, they're learned people and they're trained already.
Yeah,
so they're already a step up from that.
And we learned that.
And I think that's more of what it is,
because
like even when like Jon Snow went in there, he was to them still essentially a Stark.
Yep.
And he was still treated like shit, and he was still a bottom feeder until he
was always, Lord Snow. And Sam, I mean, legit, Sam had no skill but being a learned person. But because he also is from a house, he's considered Lord. So it washes all your past clean. It does wash your past clean, supposedly, but your ranking.
You're going into a new system. Your past is gone. This is your new thing. It doesn't mean you get to walk in and everything's,
Yeah, I mean, if one of the guys, raped over 100 women that was there, he's just lucky he's alive. So if Jon Snow and Tarly get a little bit better treatment, that dude should just be happy he's alive.
Yeah.
And Jane just said exactly, Stig. I didn't know that. Yeah. Eligible to vote. All right. So we have the Night's Watch. Now the King's Moot. Is that kind of, would you say, in a way, you have to have a certain amount of votes again? Is it one more? Is it more of a democracy? Do we know? I don't know, but I'm about to find out.
I think also because that one is a secret ballot as well.
Mm-hmm.
That could go more into that each vote is considered from the captains, equal.
Mm-hmm.
So more like I'd probably go as far as saying it's more of an elective monarchy.
Right. So this is the description. Any captain, it is. You're absolutely right. Any captain who owns a ship may participate when a king's moot is held, and it is said among the Ironborn that every captain is a king upon the deck of his own ship. Candidates may try to sway his fellow captains with a speech on his prowess and gifts to show his generosity. Only once a vast majority call out a candidate's name to proclaim him king does the king's moot end. So a vast majority. That sounds like more than just a majority. Right?
Yeah.
They don't really give you a number there because you never know how many captains you're going to have.
That's true.
I would say
most of the captains aren't actually going to be there. They're actually going to be out to sea.
Right. They give them time.
When they use the word vast, that means the vast of the captains that they have.
I know there was one story where like they did a king's moot and then another captain showed up like 2 years later and tried to pull a king's moot because he wasn't there and wasn't represented.
Yeah.
It's probably in here somewhere. Here it is. I didn't even see that. Once a candidate puts himself forth, he was bound to the king's moot decision. Only once in the history of the Iron Islands has a king's moot been declared unlawful. When King Uragan III Grey Iron died, his family called a king's moot while his eldest son Torgon Grey Iron was off at sea raiding. The king's moot raised up Urathon the fourth good brother, whose first act was to put all of Uragan's present king to death. Our kin. Torgon, the latecomer, returned 2 years later and claimed the king's moot was unlawful since he, the previous king's son, was not present to put forth his candidacy, as was his right. Since Urathon was bloodthirsty and his cruelty made him many enemies, the priests in Ironborn denounced him and raised Torgon to be the new king. So Torgon and his son, King Uragan IV, the Grey Iron, both ruled without being chosen by a king's moot. The priests of the drowned gods insisted upon a king's moot when Uragan IV died, however. This last king's moot turned into a bloodbath with Euron Grey Iron having his men kill all the other attendees. Euron Red Hand declared himself the king of the Iron Islands and set up the hereditary rule of House Grey Iron, who wore an iron crown instead of individualized driftwood crowns. His line is said to have lasted 1,000 years until the coming of the Andals. So the king's moot we see after Euron kills his brother, that's the first one in thousands of years. And
I have a question.
Yep.
You know how he used the guy back in the day wore an iron crown?
Mm-hmm.
And they're also talking about the iron price and all that stuff. Do you think that has to do with the fact that the children of the forest are allergic to iron? Seemingly.
They are?
Yeah.
I never noticed that. That would be awesome.
That's why they don't work iron. There's something about iron that they can't stand, and I think that's why they put up iron. You know, the statues in Winterfell.
Yeah, with the swords.
They're holding iron swords. So iron is a thing that's repeated.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they being like all forms of plants and being plant-based sort of like creatures, salt water's not good for them either.
Yeah, because it does, like, historically, the Iron Islands had a driftwood crown, and that gray iron ended up switching it to an iron crown, and the first men crown that the Starks had was an iron crown too. I just thought they weren't allergic the children. I thought they just didn't know how to forge weapons of iron.
Yeah, they can't work iron.
Right.
But I think there was something about iron that was bad for them, except for being chopped by them, But
I can understand that iron being really important to the Iron Islands, because without iron, you can't really have boats.
Well, yeah, and you can't raid without
Exactly.
iron. At the time, iron weapons. The Greyjoys, we don't sew. The Iron Islands are rocky. They're not good for agriculture. They fish and they raid for what they need. I do like how in the Iron Islands, you could be the king, elected by a king's moot, but the minute you got on another man's ship, you listened to him. So they're all right when they say the captain is a king of his vessel.
But at any stage, the king can take over captaincy of a ship.
I don't think that happened with them. I mean, yes, if he said we need a fleet, but that captain still ran his ship. But there was also some democracy on those ships. They would put it to vote. Do we go, south and raid along the coastline, or do we go up the Mander? You see that with Euron kind of talking his guys into what he wants to do. But if your guy, any moment out at sea, your guys can mutiny. So you have to be more democratic until it comes to something where you have to show force. It's an interesting,
That's why Theon would be a terrible captain.
Oh God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He has no dinghy. All right. So that is the Iron Islands. I want to say, what else is there? Now, when it comes to Dorne, it's just the Martells. They are princes, never kings. I don't think there ever was a king of Dorne. It was always the prince, correct?
Yeah, from memory, because they were still considered not so much followers, but it was to old Valyria. They were still seen second to it within their own culture.
Right.
Okay,
there it is.
Well, also the ones that you're looking for earlier, it was the tigers and the elephants.
The tigers and the elephants. Yep. I have the tigers up right now. I feel like in a weird way they represent, Democrats and Republicans. Like that, the symbol of having an animal.
Some of them are just tigers in name only, though.
Yeah. They're Tinos or Tino.
Tinos. Well, the tigers, they were the more militaristic warrior type ones from memory.
I could tell you right now, because I can't think of another group of that has a region anywhere except for the mountain clans that are considered a democracy. The Banners, the brother of
not really, but
no, they're more of kind of a gang,
a posse.
Posse's a way better name. Yeah, I like that.
But with the lanterns and everything, once again, it is a it's not everyone gets a say. You have to be with not free blood. What do they call it? Freeborn. You have to be freeborn.
Yep.
And of the old blood.
Yes. So after the doom of Valyria during the Century of Blood, the Volantines considered themselves the heirs to the Valyrian freehold and rightful rulers of the world. Thus, the militaristic tigers, supported by the old blood, held sway for almost a century and led Volantis into conflict with the other free cities. This conflict would eventually involve all of the free cities except for as far as we know, Lorath. At first, Volantis succeeded in their conquest, but an alliance of Tyros and Pentos resisted Volantis, and Mir and Lys rebelled. Volantis was further defeated by an alliance of Kohar and Norvos, by Dothraki, by Storm King Elric Dundarian. Ooh, that was tough. And also by Aegon Targaryen of Dragonstone. In the end, the elephants, the faction favoring peace, took power from the tigers, and the fighting was at an end. Their followers went on a rampage, knocking the heads from the statues of those they blamed for all the wars and deaths. For the last 3 centuries since the tigers lost power to the elephants, no more than one tiger has been named triarch at a time. At some times, no tiger had been elected at all. Talking about the triarch. So the elephants are more of the peaceful group. The elephants are a political party in the free city of Volantis. It's a party of merchants and moneylenders. So you have the, like you said,
what
the
would be
militants.
fun? If they had like a council with tigers and elephants and what have you, and there's only one elephant, and they're not allowed to talk about the elephant in the room.
Did we talk about the elephant in the room? You mean Steve? Also, the way that you look at it, it's the elephants are the guys that pay for the weapons that the tigers use, because they're the ones that control all the money and all the spending.
Real quick, just to answer this, the first men did have iron; they couldn't make bronze. That's why they got beat by the Andals.
The first men had bronze. The Andals had iron. I just read it.
Yeah.
Then why do they wear bronze rune, like bronze
it's easy
armor?
to forge.
No, well, the quote is from Mormont. He said, "The children of the forest are all dead. The first men killed half of them with bronze blade, and the Andals finished the job with iron."
Oh, okay. I always thought, all right, that's stupid to me. I always thought iron was weaker than bronze, and bronze was weaker than steel.
No, steel is stronger. Castle forged steel, right?
It's the strongest, but I thought it went steel, bronze, iron.
No, because the
No.
bronze is the weakest because the Bronze Age came first,
It's
right?
flexible. Well, yeah, I guess so. Bronze is Renly. Just to give people a little back, old blood. So the tigers with the old blood, that's considered people, a population of Volantis noble families that can prove an unbroken descent from old Valeria itself. So like the Targaryens would be old blood. While the elephants are more people that are families of freeborn people, like traders and moneylenders and just businessmen.
Immigrants.
Yeah. And maybe not even immigrants, freed slaves that became, generation by generation became merchants.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying the free slaves can't cast a vote.
Right.
But their kids could.
Right. You would have to own, I don't know if it was property or just have a certain type of power, like a merchant guild supporting you or something.
That's right. All you do is just buy a couple of slaves. You're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Sorry, brother and sister, but I need to be able to vote. So you're going back into slavery.
This vote is really important for our democracy.
This is really important.
Really
I'll treat you guys well. Interesting note in mythology, the 7-pointed star is the star of the Fae or fairy realm. Are the children of the forest tied to the origins of the faith? The faith comes from Essos. So it is separate from the children. Yet there are some races in Essos that may be cousins of the children of the forest. There's like a small group that ride like these little zebras that could be children-esque. But no, it's interesting that the 7-pointed star is the Fey realm, but the children are of the old gods, which is the weirwood trees. Do you guys have anything on that?
No.
They ate the cats. If this is boring, chat, let us know. We could change the topic. We could talk theories. It's up to you. I just find this stuff kind of interesting. You know, you could even say the morning star. So the wielder of dawn, in a way, that is a voting thing. You have to be, you're just not given dawn. Dawn can sit unused for generations until someone is considered worthy enough. And who decides on that but a group of the family, I would say, right?
That makes sense.
I'm trying to think of things.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I can't say yes because I can't think of any proof it doesn't. Oh, see, Stig.
Oh no, what happened?
You got to go.
Oh, he has to reboot. You know, there's another one I was thinking of over in Essos. Karth. Karth is more of an oligarchy. So descending from the Quaith, Carthians are tall and pale people called milkmen by the Dothraki for their complexion. They pride themselves on their sophistication and consider weeping in times of strong emotion to be a mark of civilization. They're Democrats. Carthene politeness goes as far as having the Carthene Guild of Assassins, known as the Sorrowful Men, say "I'm so sorry" to their victim before killing them. The symbols of the Carthene language sound liquid to a Westerosi ear. The Carthian dress in linen, tiger fur, and Samite, Samite.
Semites. Oh, they dress them in Semites. Better than anti-Semites.
I was about to say, are they skinning people?
Yeah.
So,
Well, they also have the Council of the 12 or 13 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
as well.
Right. And that's what I was going to get to. Karth is normally ruled by the pureborn. Oh, don't worry about it. Karth is normally ruled by the pureborn, who are seated in the Hall of 1,000 Thrones. They deal with all matters of civic importance, commanding the civic guard and the fleet of ornate war galleys which rule the Jade Gates between the seas. However, the powerful guilds of the 13, the Tormilin Brotherhood, and the ancient guild of Spicers all contend endlessly with the pureborn. You also have the warlocks of Karth are feared and respected throughout Essos. They're like the alchemist
They don't really
guild.
hold any political power.
No, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, because you never see them talking about that stuff. Karth is a merchant city, because they controlled the area called the Jade Gate, which is people have to pass through there to get to certain areas. I'm guessing.
Like the
Karth is seen. Okay, yep. Karth is seen as the gateway of commerce and culture between East and West and North and South. Westeros traders from Old Town and the Arbor sailed to Karth, for instance. Karth houses 3 guilds of competing merchant princes. The 13.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. So that's the reason why the merchants and the guild or spice traders and everything have so much political power, because they get theirs through commerce.
Right.
Which is different to the pureborns, who are just basically like inherited their positions of power.
Right. Yeah, and it's true. You know,
white collar versus blue collar.
Right. And you see the different cities that do that. Volantis is one of the only ones that have both competing. Because even here, you know, they're run by the. Well, let's look real quick. The pureborns, also known as the enthroned, are you're right, are noble rulers of Karth. They contend with merchant princes from the 13th.
It's mainly wealth influence because there's very limited participation from the actual everyday folk.
Right.
So it's an extremely limited governance, like a very small percentage of people that actually have any power to, one, if they want to overthrow without force, or to actually elect someone. But it's not a direct voting process. It's just who holds more power at the time has more influence.
Now, it's kind of because doesn't Dany more or less deal with the traitors from the different guilds? Then I don't remember her really dealing with the purebloods.
Only in Marine.
There is a point, I believe they send. See, the purebloods do send because they're in control of like the military. So they do send their galleons and armada to block Slaver's Bay. I know that much. In Dance with Dragons, in Marine, Zero Zandakos tells Dany that following the destruction of the House of the Undying, which she caused, he went to the Hall of the Thousand Thrones to beg the Pureborn for her life. Bullshit, he did. When Zoran told them Dany was no more than a child, Egon Emeros replied she was a foolish child, mad and headless, and too dangerous to live. So they have military power.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Zaros is a part of the Merchant Guild, though. He's not a pure. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Everyone you see in the show is in the Merchant Guild, I believe.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Like, unlike the book where they talk about different things in different areas, like because she's gone to a lot more areas in the book than in the show.
Right. Oh God, yeah. 13 is a witch's coven. Yep.
It's also if you squish it really close together, it looks like the letter B. That's why you can't trust out someone called Bob because they've got two 13s in their name.
Yeah, twice. That's scary. YouTube has started crashing my Firefox tabs. Yeah, I also heard they're running ads on YouTube during a stream. So if that happens, I'm sorry. Please come back. There's not many people watching as is, but I love you guys for
I'll be back
around.
in a little bit, buddy.
Okay. I say what were the only other ones I wanted to talk about? Pentos. We can talk about Pentos real quick. Then we'll talk about other things. Pentos is a city where wealth equals power, ruled over by a prince with a council of rich magisters. Now, being a prince in Pentos it could be one of the greatest things. It could also be terrifying. I believe the prince is elected once a year, or they have a term for the prince. I'll have to find that. The princes are voted on by the council of the magistrates, rich magistrates. It's a ceremonial function. It's kind of like almost like to me, it's almost like Wiccan in a way, because like the prince is blamed if they have famines, is loved and treated great to almost to the gods for a good harvest. Each year they deflower two maidens, one of the sea and one of the fields, to ensure prosperity on land and sea. But if there is famine or they're lost to war is lost, they slit their throat to appease the gods and choose a new prince from the ruling class families. So really the magistrates, the merchants are the ones the richest merchants are the ones that run Pentos, and they prop up a prince for the people to see. But the minute something goes wrong with that prince, or they get sick and tired of him, they slit their throat to appease the gods and get themselves.
So kind of like an oligarchy again.
Yeah. With a false,
right.
Like a false elective monarchy. It's like a kind of a facade of that. Pentos abolished, or I'm sorry, slavery was heavily practiced in Pentos, but Bravos imposed abolishing after several wars. Pentosian ships flout these laws, however, by running Lycian and Moorish banners when challenged. So yeah, they're slavers. But yeah, it's a prince that is really prince who is chosen. Here it is, prince who is chosen from 40 families, and they preside over balls and feasts. They're carried from place to place in a rich palanquin with handsome guard, and they deflower a couple of young ladies a year. So heyo, sure. Let me try that. Hold, please. Feel free to talk.
So let's see. Could Westeros ever become a democracy? What would need to happen? You could argue it would need like a Magna Carta type.
Yeah, there is, and someone brought that up in something I was reading. There is no Magna Carta at all in any of these countries. Guess what? A couple of you just became Sporking members on my. I don't know if I have to pay for this. That would really suck, but I gave it to you. Mike does, Slender Dad, Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Adam Wolford. Oh, dude, what's going on? Oh, and Darren, like my father before me. I love you, dude. You are all new Sporking members. And because there's only 6 people here, I'll gift out a few more. Boom. I got 5 left to give. Bam. Paying. Yeah, I'm totally. What did he say right here? Member for 20 months. That Biggles, man. Paying for Sporking is awful. I agree. So we got a couple more people. It doesn't show this many people are actually watching, but Kate J is a sponsor now. Tarks9, American Patriots Pad, Sifu in Training. Oh, and you're Barmy. Hey, what's up? You're all sponsored. You're all members now too. So welcome to the party. I did. Dude, you told me. Why don't you tell me this shit before I do it? Well, that's $100. Hey, whatever. You're welcome, everybody. You deserve it. You guys watch the show. Many of the names I do know. A couple are new to me, and I'm just glad you're watching.
After the stream, is gonna cry.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm going to
my money.
I'm going to pay to go to Australia just to kick Mr. Grant Gregory in the ass. But you know what? It's fine because I do this for fun. It's nice every couple months they send me a little check. I used to take it way too serious when I was making a lot more. It might have been a good thing that they demonetized me. Whatever.
I made $2 from YouTube.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
what
impressive.
happened was it was on Mary's stream, and the super chat was addressed to me. They were asking me a question, and
Right.
they were, thank you for the $2. I said, no, those are mine. It was addressed to me, and I think she she was gonna PayPal me the $2, and I gave it back as a donation, so I didn't have the money long.
And
And
that was nice of her, though.
Well, she had to. They were mine.
Yeah.
It said so. But and I've given 2 super chats because I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I messaged Teresa and I PayPal'd her the money,
right,
and had her do the super chat.
That's
and
funny.
say what I wanted her to say.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Because I'm a boomer. So
oh, that's
she was literally a money laundering middleman thing.
That's awesome. When I first started, becoming members on people's channel, I totally didn't even bother to tell Good Take Motion. So he's coming over and I think somebody stole your PayPal account. I go, why? Well, there's all these weird like $1 charge, $4.99 charge, $6. I'm like, oh, oops.
You should have said that. You should have said, that's a sex phone line I use.
Hey yo.
Yeah, you need to do something special for me, or it'll continue to happen.
Well, if I'm only paying out about $100 a month, or as in getting $100 a month, that just means I'm not very good at pillow talk.
Oh, that's great. Pillow talk. Yeah, we sound old when we say stuff like that. Good old hanky panky.
I never get to do pillow talk, or rather, I get to talk, but she can't because the stupid ball gag.
In the shape of a golden snitch. Harry Potter, bang gang. When are we getting that show?
I don't think it's coming for quite a while. I'm not even sure they've even started filming it yet. Because that was
they haven't
HBO
even
Max,
gotten
right?
people yet.
The Joe Abercrombie show is in trouble.
Oh no, is it?
Yeah, it said something about bureaucracy or whatever, studio bureaucracy. But the guy couldn't say more. And I haven't heard anything more about the Feist show. Hopefully it's canceled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The books are so good, though. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll ruin them, though.
Yeah, the Feist
I just want to give a quick
it.
shout out to Makini real quick, and then we'll go back to that. Makini draws, great dude, amazing artist. If you're into like anime drawing in a way, he's bootylicious with them. He's a good person, friend of the channel, $2 super sticker, a little dog pointing up. Thank you, man. Make sure you guys check out his channel. It's been a while. I'm in Russia. Can't receive your gift. Wow. That sucks.
That's why I never get membership things, I think. Because
that's probably it depends on the country.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nuts.
Oh.
That is nuts. Yeah, we're done with democracy. Do we have any theories we want to talk about?
I just want to answer back to our Harry Potter television series.
Yes, please.
According to an article on Deadline in September, it says that Warner Brothers Discovery Harry Potter television series has launched an open casting call for its Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger. The note stipulates the actors must be between the ages of 9 and 11 in April 2025, which might signal the aim to start production then. So,
production
not an official update. Right, like, production in 2025, so we won't see it till 2026.
Okay. Are Donald Hill and Marie are both or one of them bastard children of Tywin Lannister? So Donald Hill, known as Sweet Donald, is a steward of the Night's Watch and is the squire of Sir Mallardor Locke. He claims to be a bastard of Lancaster. How do we know though? What does he give us? Donald has white teeth, fat, red lips, yellow hair worn and tumbled down to his shoulders. Donald is a part of the Great Ranging. So he is one of the conspirators who intend to kill Mormont. But where does he say that he is a bastard?
Oh, he said it, when we did the
prologue.
Prologue. Yeah, okay. He was in it. He was bragging about being a Lannister. I think it was the one I read.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. No, that was the last week one. We did that.
Yeah. It was last week's one. Also,
and then who's Marie then?
I think it was Tywin had one mistress, I think.
When he was Hand of the King.
So yeah, something like that. But I have a little theory as well. I posted in our chat a while ago. You know how Melisandre says that she describes the Great Other as having black eyes? I think we might have missed something obvious there.
Wait a minute, the Great Other having black eyes?
Yes. She says it to either Sam or no, she says it to Davos.
Okay.
When she's talking about the Lord of Light and the Great Other, who must not be named and blah blah blah.
Right.
And he has black eyes. And well, we know that he's in the north because she says that.
Yep.
The three-eyed crow.
Yeah.
Black eyes right there.
Well, and I think thank you for connecting it, because I've said that the three-eyed crow could be the Great Other or one of his agents, but that is a perfect connection that I never saw before.
It was right there too.
I never noticed that before, and I'm glad you said it, because we know with George, eye color is huge.
Yeah.
You know, he plays with the eye color. I mean, Danny's vision of pearl and opals and ruby and blah 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 eye colors are all the emperors of the great empire of the dawn in order. She also sees all the, now is that in the book or in the, yeah, that's only in the show, seeing the eyes in what's her name's face, Arya's. That's a show thing, right?
Oh yeah. Melisandre has never met Arya.
Right. But Tyrion's two different color eyes, making people believe he might be a Targaryen. Waymar Royce, looking same eye color as Jon. So
Tyrion has one. Is it one black and one purple? Was that it?
Yeah, no, one purple, one blue, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or green. One green, one
green.
Yeah, green and purple, because green is Lannister, purple is Targaryen. Yeah. But I never noticed that. I never caught that, man.
Yeah. And I was I caught it when I was watching one of those theory videos about the old powers returning, or whatever it's called, and the Order of the Green Hand. It's just like 6 or 7 parts. It's awesome, by the way. And they had a picture of that crow.
Right.
And I was black eyes. And shit.
And Order of the Green Hand's awesome.
Yeah. They didn't talk about the Great Other in that video, I think. So, but it was just it just clicked.
You connected it.
Yeah.
That's
I just read the books, and I paid special attention to the Melisandre stuff I was reading. So
yeah, I'm going to put, even though I barely know those guys, I mean, they remember my other handle, which is crazy. Like, I was gone for like 3 years on their channel, and I just put, this was my other handle. And they were like, oh my God, I've been wondering where you've been, like remembering questions I asked. Like, they were awesome, but they were a couple, and I don't know if they're together anymore. So that's maybe why they're not doing it. But if you want awesome.
Yep. I think they're just doing live streams.
Oh, so they still are doing it.
Yeah, but it's just live streams now.
Oh, okay. If you want to check out, like, Kalnitzky, and I know Kirsty Angel and Jane, like, you guys would really dig their channel if you haven't checked it out. So Order of the Green Hand, throw in their Sporking News podcast, told us to check it out. Oh, and Brian, I didn't even know you were here. Brian knows Order of the Green Hand. You missed so much, man. We broke down every democracy-esque thingy. I'm so shot today. But now we're just going to do some theories. So if you guys have theories, just at Sporking and the theory, and I'll find it. What theory would you like us to go through? I mean, but Brian Stig just pulled out. Please repeat that for me, because it's a great one.
Yeah, that Melisandre tells Davos that she's talking about the Lord of Light and, the enemy of the world, which is the Great Other, who is in the north. We're not supposed to say his name. and she says that he has black eyes, and the only one in the north, I think, that has black eyes is the three-eyed crow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think of anybody else they say has black eyes. It's the three-eyed
that
crow.
One's definitely doing something to Bran that is not good.
Right. And I swear there is one of his dreams when he's in his coma where there is a weirwood tree, which is red and white, which is speaking to him as Blood Raven. And that makes way more sense that Blood Raven would come through as a weirwood tree. He's an albino with one red eye, and he's connected to the weirwood net. And then the three-eyed crow lands on one of his branches and is also talking to Bran. I swear there's one of the dreams that happens.
You know what else is interesting is that most of the visions and stuff tend to happen rather shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Right, except for the free the dragon from the stone thing.
Right.
Yeah, I saw a theory that holds a lot of water.
Okay.
Where it's happened. The dragon was under Winterfell.
Oh,
it broke free. Yeah, it broke free due to Bran, because when they escaped the crypts, Winterfell is burned to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just do that with a lighter. And
right.
The Boltons would want to keep Winterfell. They wouldn't burn it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they want to. So the theory was that the hot springs were hot because there was a dragon beneath.
Right. Well, because wasn't it was it Queen was it supposedly her dragon, Queen Alisane's dragon, that spent time in the crypts when she visited there? Or was it somebody else's? Was it?
I thought they said her dragon was the one that supposedly laid the clutch of eggs that should be
in the crypt. And we can't, you can't get down deep into the crypt. It's collapsed. So those eggs, and that's how they have greenhouses, like these massive greenhouses in Winterfell, because they use geothermal heating, and use the steam from that hot spring to keep it warm so they can grow vegetables and flowers and stuff like that.
Yeah, the prophecy was about a winged wolf that is supposedly chained by its hind legs. Right. Well, that's what happens to Fenris.
Oh man, I love that.
He is chained. Yeah, in Norse mythology, he's chained to the rock by chains, which is exactly what the prophecy said. And it fits like a glove with Bran being Fenris, doesn't it?
Yeah,
he is.
Sorry.
Paralyzed.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tina.
I would say, wouldn't it be funny if Martin's like a college roommate was like getting a graduate degree in Norse mythology or something, and he's just been like,
plagiarizing the dude,
plagiarizing off his friend. Yeah.
Hey,
you have awesome paper for this class and that class and that class.
Funny that you should mention it though, because Morton said if you steal from many sources, it's research. If you steal from one, it's plagiarism.
It's plagiarism. Yeah.
Well, mythology is many sources, isn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And it also explains why he keeps saying that he knows how it will end in broad strokes. Well, that's mythology. It's only broad strokes. Very broad.
Yeah. Right. So hold on. I'm going to share this. I love Bran stuff. So here we go. Even though I couldn't stand him in the show the last couple seasons, but that's not.
Oh, he really easily has the best story in the book.
Oh God, yeah. Amen. So this is someone breaking down Bran's coma dreams. So first, Bran coma dream. Bran flies, seeing Winterfell from above with Hodor, Luwin, and Robb. This seems to be current event at that moment. like he's actually seeing through a bird's eye view. Next, he looks east and sees Catelyn on a ship. That's also current event. Yeah, as she's going down to King's Landing. After, well, not current, but it's actually future, because the cat's paw dagger and the assassin come in, and then she decides to go and she takes a ship. Bran notices a storm ahead of Cat that she could not yet see. This is reminiscent of Bran's green dream of Winterfell being drowned. It's simply cryptic puzzle. The storm is Cat arresting Tyrion and the problems in her story. Then Bran looks south towards the the great blue-green rush of the Trident. The Trident is where we have just been with the preceding Sansa and Ned chapters. So this seems like present or recent past. Ned, Sansa, Arya, and King Robert are named, who are all at the Trident in the Derry Castle at that point. And the quote is, he saw his father pleading with the king, his face etched with grief. He saw Sansa crying herself to sleep at night, and he saw Arya watching in silence, holding her secrets hard in her heart. I actually want to get like all the quotes. So I'm going to try to find that on a different page. But because the wording is very important. What's up, Grant? Yeah, me too. I mean, I love me too. Thank you, bro. That was really special.
Put something in the chat.
Okay.
And I'm going to add something else.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So chapter 17, is that the first one? Let's see if it's the actual quote though.
Hey, check the private chat. The last bit is an add-on, which also backs up my little theory.
That is good.
Yeah, Melisandre doesn't want to sleep at the wall because she believes that dreams are whisperings of the great other. Right?
And
well, that's what the damn crow is doing to Bran.
Right.
Coming to him in his sleep.
Right.
And both have black eyes, supposedly.
That's pretty awesome. Let me see if I can find a Bran 17 chapter. Actually, why don't I just do the PDF? We'll pull up the PDF. Stay tuned, everyone. Game. Let's see. Okay, let me share this. I'll remove that.
Here's another bit that I'm going to put in there. Melisandre says that, speak not that name, lest you draw his black eye upon us. He protects no man, I promise you. He is the enemy of all that lives.
See, now I always
the torches
that
hide us. And
she's talking about the great other again. Okay, I always thought that was the black eye of Euron Greyjoy, because he has the
no, it's the middle eye of the crow.
Yeah, the all-seeing eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Fits rather well, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right. So this is, I believe, Bran's first dream.
And it also explains why. Yeah. It also explains why they light torches on the wall.
Ah.
Right?
Yeah, because like, what is the point? Except for maybe you being able to see where you're walking, because that torch is not going to light up the ground. You know, it's pretty freaking high.
Exactly. So it's to protect the dreams of the Night's Watch people.
Right. That's true. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it fits like a glove. And Melisandre keeps the torches burning all day and all night when she's there. And the Red Priests do the same.
Right. So the 17 is his first dream, because this is the one where they went to the hunt, and I think at the end he sees them bumping uglies. So okay. So let's go to 17. I'm just going to read what his dream is. The first Bran dream. So 17. All right. It seemed as though he had been falling for years. Fly, a voice whispers in the darkness. But Bran did not know how to fly, so all he could do was fall. Master Lewin made a little boy of clay, baked him till he was hard and brittle, dressed him in Bran's clothes, and flung him off a roof. Bran remembered the way he shattered. But I never fell. But I never fall, he said, falling. The ground was so far below him he could barely make it out through the gray mist that whirled around him. But he could feel how fast he was falling, and he knew what was waiting for him down there. Even in dreams, you could not fall forever. He would wake up in the instant before he hit the ground. He knew. You always woke up in the instant before you hit the ground. And if you don't, the voice asked. The ground was closer now, still far, far away, 1,000 miles away, but closer than it had been. It was cold here in the darkness. There was no sun, no stars, only the ground below coming up to smash him and the gray mist and the whispering voice he wanted to cry. Not cry, fly. I can't fly, Bran said. I can't. How do you know? Have you ever tried? The voice was high and thin. Bran looked around to see where it was coming from. A crow was spiraling down with him, just out of reach, following him as he fell. Help me, he said. I'm trying, the crow replied. Say, got any corn? Bran reached into his pocket as the darkness spun dizzying around him. When he pulled his hand out, golden kernels slid from between his fingers into the air. They fell with him. The crow landed on his head and began to eat. Are you really a crow? Bran asked. Are you really falling? The crow asked back. It's just a dream, Bran said. It is? Asked the crow. I'll wake up when I hit the ground, Bran told the bird. You'll die when you hit the ground, the crow said, and went back to eating corn. Bran looked down. He could see mountains now, their peaks white with snow and silver thread of river and dark woods. He closed his eyes and began to cry. That won't do any good, the crow said. I told you, the answer is flying, not crying. How hard can it be? I'm doing it. The crow took to the air and flapped around Bran's head. You have wings, Bran pointed out. Maybe you do too. Bran felt along his shoulders, groping for feathers. There are different kinds of wings, the crow said. Bran was staring at his arms, his legs. He was so skinny, just skin stretched taut over bones. Had he always been so thin? He tried to remember. A face swam up at him out of the gray mist, shining with light golden. The things I do for love, it said. Bran screamed. The crow took to the air. Caw! Or cawing. Not that. It shrieked at him. Forget that. You do not need it now. Put it aside, put it away. It landed on Bran's shoulder and pecked at him, and the shining golden face was gone. Bran was falling faster than ever. The gray mist howled around him as he plunged towards the earth below. What are you doing to me? He asked the crow tearfully. Teaching you how to fly. I can't fly. You're flying tight now. I am falling. Every flight begins with a fall, the crow said. Look down. I'm afraid. Look down. Bran looked down and felt his insides turned to water. The ground was rushing up at him now. The whole world was spread out below him, a tapestry of white and brown and green. He could see everything so clearly that for a moment he forgot to be afraid. He could see the whole realm and everyone in it. He said he saw Winterfell as the eagles see it, the tall towers looking squat and stubby from above, the castle walls just lines in the dirt. He saw Master Lewin on his balcony, studying the sky through a polished bronze tube and frowning as he made notes in a book. He saw his brother Robb, taller and stronger than he remembered him, practicing sword play in the yard with real steel in his hand. He saw Hodor, the simple giant from the stables, carrying an anvil to Micken's forge, hefting it onto his shoulder as easily as another man might heft a bale of hay. At the heart of the godswood, the great white weirwood brooded over its reflection in the black pool, its leaves rustling in a chill wind. When it felt Bran watching, it lifted its eyes from the still waters, stared back at him knowingly. He looked east and saw a galley racing across the waters of the Bight. He saw his mother sitting alone in a cabin, looking at a blood-stained knife on a table in front of her. As the rowers pulled at their oars and Sir Roderick leaned across a rail, shaking and heaving. A storm was gathering ahead of them, a vast, dark, roaring, lashed by lightning, but somehow they could not see it. He looked south and saw the great blue-green rush of the trident. He saw his father pleading with the king, his face etched with grief. He saw Sansa crying herself to sleep at night, and he saw Arya watching in silence and holding her secrets hard in her heart. There were shadows all around them. One shadow was dark as ash, with the terrible face of a hound. Another was armored like the sun, golden and beautiful. Over them both loomed a giant in armor made of stone. But when he opened his visor, there was nothing inside but darkness and thick black blood. He lifted his eyes and saw clear across the narrow seas to the free cities and the green Dothraki Sea and beyond, to vast Darthrak under its mountain, to the fabled lands of the Jade Sea, to Ashai by the shadow, where dragons stirred beneath the sunrise. Finally, he looked north. He saw the wall shining like blue crystal, and his bastard brother Jon sleeping alone in a cold bed, his skin growing pale and hard as the memory of all warmth fled from him. And he looked past the wall, past endless forests cloaked in snow, past the frozen shore and the great blue white rivers of ice and the dead plains where nothing grew or lived. North and north and north he looked, to the curtain of light at the end of the world.
I have a little comment.
Okay. Jump in.
If he sees dragons, in the Ashai area,
Mm-hmm.
then it can't be the dragons causing the magic. So it's not the birth of Daenerys' dragons that's causing magic to come back.
Right.
Since dragons have all been in Ashai.
And the White Walkers have been around for a while too. And magic really doesn't come back to the comet.
Dragons is smokescreen.
Yep.
Also, I like how he said he saw Jon lying alone, cold, getting cold and grey. I'm just like, oh, that's him dead on a table.
Yep. And I found it. Oh, there's a little bit more, but
are we sure about that? Or is it just that he's sleeping on the way to Winterfell?
No, because
no, he never sleeps alone, doesn't he?
He would, because they don't sleep alone.
Yeah, because he's sleeping.
No, he sleeps alone as Lord Commander. He does
as Lord Commander, but that's not yet.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be cold.
Right, in a cold bed, and his skin growing pale and hard as the memory of all warmth fled from him. So
in other words, his blood left his body.
Exactly. Also, isn't it kind of interesting that the Crow, when he starts a face swam up at him out of the gray mist, shining with light golden. The things I do for love. The crow like took to air, cawing like, not that. Forget that. You don't need it now. Put it aside. Like he doesn't want him to know Jaime was the one that pushed him. He doesn't want him thinking about that at all. It's kind of interesting. Thought that was a good one too. But everything he's seeing, like people in the present and their future. You know, his mother. I like how the weirwood looks back at him. How his mother and Roderick are, you know, that is happening in the story, but it's a storm they don't see coming. You know, so it is the whole storm of what she sparks off with taking Tyrion. We'll finish it up because I don't think there's a lot more to it. Where is it? Right here. And then beyond the curtain, he looked deep into the heart of winter, and then he cried out, afraid, and the heat of his tears burned on his cheeks. Now you know, the crow whispered as he sat on his shoulder. Now you know why you must live. Why? Bran said, not understanding, falling, because winter is coming. Bran looked at the crow on his shoulder, and the crow looked back. It had 3 eyes, and the third eye was full of a terrible knowledge. Bran looked down. There was nothing below him now but snow and cold and death, a frozen wasteland where jagged blue-white spires of ice waited to embrace him. They flew up at him like spears. He saw the bones of 1,000 other dreamers impaled upon their points. He was desperately afraid. Can a man still be brave if he's afraid? He heard his own voice saying, small and far away, and his father's voice replied to him, that is the only time a man can be brave. Now, Bran, the crow urged, choose, fly or die. Death reached for him, screaming. Bran spread his arms and flew. Wings unseen drank the wind and filled and pulled him upward. Were you going to say something? Anybody? I thought I heard somebody.
Yeah, you know when Bran sees something, you know, terrible in the north,
Mm-hmm.
he starts crying. Melisandre says that she says she thinks no man can survive looking upon the cold.
Right.
Sorry, no man can survive looking upon the cold, frightening visage of the great other. I think he saw him.
And Bran just did, right?
And he put the fear and he put the fear of fucking death in him, and that's how he flew.
Right, because the third eye of this crow
reaches for him.
Yeah, but the way they talk about third eye, it had 3 eyes, and the third eye was full of a terrible knowledge. And
yeah, that's where the power is.
Yeah.
And yeah, she said, you know, if you know the black eye will be drawn to you, and the great other will fuck with your dreams. I mean, it is the crow.
Yeah.
Or something, you know, like a spiritual crow that the great other wargs into, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, like a dream.
Like an avatar.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it, an avatar. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Bran actually saw the great other.
I agree with you, just from the statement, a terrible knowledge in that third eye.
Yeah, and death, you know,
the worst place to get terrible knowledge.
Yeah. And, you know, they keep saying that the great other is death.
Yeah.
There's power over death and blah, 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 always death. So, it is the great other.
Right.
That's up there doing the stuff, and it is the three-eyed crow.
Mm-hmm.
And heck, you know, even Nan, the first thing she says is, you know, crows are all liars.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you always believe old Nan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is
Because
one of my
she's Nettles.
Nettles is badass. But that is one that is one thing like I love. Like old Nan is proven right. She's proven right. Even though it's always hard for me to understand what Patchface is saying, other people have broken it down and it seems like he's always right. Like there are certain people that are in the story that are always right. And I feel like Nan is the only one that seems to have all her wits about her. You know, she's just a very old woman, but she is sharp as a tack. There's nothing.
And no one, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Tina. Stop saying that. Go.
And no one takes her seriously because she's just some old woman.
Yep. Yeah. I'll finish this one real quick. The sky opened up, Bran's sword. It was better than climbing. It was better than anything. The world grew small beneath him. I'm flying, he cried out in delight. I've noticed, said the three-eyed crow. It took to the air, flapping its wings in his face, slowing him, blinding him. That's another thing. Like now that he's flying, this bird is trying to impede him. He faltered in the air as it pinions, right? Pinions?
Yeah, pinions.
Beat against his cheeks. What are pinions? The feathers?
I have no idea, but you pronounced it right.
Yeah. Can we check that, mark that time? Its beaks stabbed at him fiercely, and Bran felt a sudden blinding pain in the middle of his forehead, between his eyes. What are you doing? He shrieked. The crow opened its beak and cawed at him, a shrill scream of fear, and the gray mist shuddered and swirled around him and ripped away like a veil. And he saw that the crow was really a woman, a serving woman with long black hair, and he knew her from somewhere, from Winterfell. Yes, that was it. He remembered her now. And then he realized that he was in Winterfell, in a bed high in some chilly tower room, and the black-haired woman dropped a basin of water to shatter on the floor and ran down the steps shouting, "He's awake, he's awake, he's awake." So that's his first dream. I mean, his first dream's pretty powerful. And I always thought he had 3 coma dreams, but the other ones come even after Greyjoy takes the castle. He has that last one in the crypt because of the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Interesting thing about
go, Tina. It's all right.
Interesting thing about a pinion is it's the outer part of a bird's wing is where they're using it for in that sentence. However, if you treat it as a verb, it's tying or holding the arms and legs of someone, arms or legs of someone.
Oh, so kind of what Stig has been saying about chained legs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as a verb, it means tying arms and legs. Dude, I never
tying the arms or legs of someone.
Wow, that's crazy.
And shit, what was I gonna say?
I'm sorry about that, buddy.
No, it's warging. If this is a type of, the same type of magic as warging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if you have warged into someone, you can always do it again later because the door is open.
Yes.
So maybe that's why the crow can keep doing it afterwards when he's not in a coma.
Right. He already got in.
Yeah, when Bran agreed to fly, that was it. He, I consent, right? Maybe.
No, that makes sense. I like that.
Some potential good news for you guys in the private chat, by the way.
Oh, please.
That's amazing.
Dude. Amen to Jebediah and all his brothers.
Just out of curiosity, would they be allowed to use the electronic machines?
No,
they
I thought there were two.
They could drive in cars. Oh, they can't actually use it.
Exactly. And plus,
Okay.
also, there's the two kinds. There's the Amish and the whatever. And I
The
totally apologize
Mennonites.
to get this wrong. Right. One of them can use certain electrical devices,
I want to say
and other ones
Mennonites.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah, because
It,
the
it, it's
Amish
being
are old
compared
school.
to the it's being compared to the Ents marching on Isengard.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome, man. Oh, 80K? That's so great. I'm tweeting about that right now.
Assuming it's well, I'm seeing it several places now. Yeah, 80,000.
That is awesome, man. And if we disagree out there, any of my people in the chat politically, it's okay here. You could be wrong. I respect you still. Let's see. I'm gonna get an Amish.
Was that a racism?
A racism.
My boss comes up through a military career before she moved into the corporate sector, and whenever she's joking around about things, just says, "You know what? When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you."
I've heard that they can't use vibrators because electricity, so they have to use a bottle with a wasp in it.
Oh God. Oh man, that would be painful. Holy crap.
Oh, it has a cork on it, of course.
They're not savages.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Come on.
I don't know them. Hey, what do you call a guy standing by the side of the road with his arm up a horse's ass?
I don't know what.
Amish mechanic.
Oh,
I love it.
right, that might be a little racist, but it's a joke. It's just
a good
joke.
one. Jokes are jokes.
Great.
Yeah, Adega said it too. Mennonites can use electricity. That's one stinky cork.
Yeah, try to top that one.
Yeah. They say cork, natural cork, is a deterrent to fruit flies. I heard that the other day. Yeah.
I wonder if that's why they cork bottles in the olden days.
You put cork near like fruit when it's ripening, and it will take some of the moisture out, and it will also release a scent that fruit flies do not like.
Ooh, I need to get a ball of cork or something to put in my fruit bowl because we got major problems with apples and bananas in my family. I also have to put, I guess if you put aluminum over the top of the bananas where they're all joined.
Aluminium.
Aluminium. Yeah. Oh, they say it's so much cooler though. Come on, aluminium.
Aluminium. It sounds like
supposedly if you do that.
You're speaking English. That's the thing.
Come on, keep talking through us, Tina. Go.
It's just supposed to keep the bananas from ripening as quickly as if you
interesting.
It doesn't have to be foil. You can wrap it in like cling wrap, saran wrap, whatever you want to call it, baking paper.
Foul.
Oh.
No, that's just what a bird is.
Oh man. Awesomeness, people. I love Reddit. Like Game of Thrones Reddit is so much fun.
It is.
I'm gonna just put this in our private chat so we can take a look at this another time. It's like a crazy in-depth one of Bran. The Gray Mist is a big one. The guy keeps saying, all right, anyways, let's see. When is the next one for Bran? I know the one in the crypt, but I don't know when they come up. I know chapter 17 is one of them. Bran, dreams, vision. You see the Kirsty Angel one too? about Nymeria. That's kind of an interesting one.
The dog or the ancient woman?
Ancient woman.
The ancient woman.
Yeah.
Nymeria is the main person in history who is mentioned numerous times in reference to the wall and sending kings there. King's blood used to birth shadow babies like Mel, shadows on the soul. COF and ravens. Why can't I think of what the COF is?
Children of the Forest.
Thank you. Nymeria, witch queen, bore no arms in battle, instead commanded her armies, equal to the corpse queen necromancer, which is a necromancer of Endor in Bible, and Dorn equals Endor or Endor. Nymeros equals the nymph Eros. Children of the Forest. 10,000 ships, said to be more like 1,000, equals the 1,000 children of the forest sacrificed in the evil magic ritual. Nymeria is a child of the forest. It's in her name. Interesting.
And there's also this one. Ronor and Valeria were principalities. Nymeria sent 6 kings to the wall, 7 hells, princes. John, being promised prince, link the wall as the principality, and Valeria and Ronor as the fallen watchers. So if she sent 6 kings to the wall, or kings, princes, is John the 7th, you're saying? Like, I'm trying to figure out who is, because there is a weird thing with Nymeria.
Well, actually, good point though, because if she sent 6 kings to the wall and promised 7, right?
Yep.
Sorry, 6 princes and promised 7. Him arriving later would mean the prince that was promised.
No shit, bang.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it's weird about Nymeria's trip with these 10,000 ships, like where she stops before getting to Dorne. And then, I don't know, if you go through it, someone has a great video essay on it. It might be, even though we are completely different on social or, well, political stuff, Preston Jacob does one, I think, about Nymeria and her ships. And like, she takes these ships because she doesn't want to go to war with Valyria and she wants to protect her people, but she lands in places where the butterflies are killing them. They become enslaved, like she goes in weird directions, like where they tell us she lands and then ends up in Dorne. It's kind of weird. Let's see. I still truly do not think the Three-Eyed Crow is Bloodraven, and no one is gonna stop me on that.
I can't really argue.
Yeah, it's just.
Please continue.
Okay, thank you. I mean, there's too much. I'm trying to find another one of his dreams. I don't know what chapter. I know there's the one in the crypt is like one of the last ones. Let's see. Where is his second one? Is it in the second book? Someone help me. Search.
It is in the second book when he's traveling with Jojen.
It's all I needed to hear. Clash of Kings, right?
Well, it's good to travel with Jojen in case you should always travel with some food.
Yeah. I mean, and hearty food that is. It really keeps them strong.
It's a little bit pasty, though.
Jojen and Mira don't show up. Jojen and Mira don't show up until the 2nd season of Game of Thrones, after Winterfell has been burned.
Huh. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Probably for financial reasons to have less actors.
Yeah.
Pay.
Yes. That's true. All right, let's see, where can we find Bran?
This way, if it's really true that they screwed up season 2 because they wanted to save money on budget for House of the Dragon, that's just sucky.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, trying to win back an audience from a previous series they destroyed and then go, let's count pennies here.
Yeah. There are quite a few people
not just that. They also tied the new one to the old train wreck in the first damn episode.
Yep.
With the knife. The knife isn't even important in the books.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. It's just Robert's hunting knife.
Oh, is this it? Hold on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't mind me, everybody. Someone talk so it's not complete silence. No, really. So, thank you, Tina. Get into it.
So, anybody else obsessed over the TV series From?
I still haven't seen it, but I've heard all good things about it. Yeah, is that Apple? Is that Apple?
No, it is MGM Plus in the US.
Alrighty, I'm back. What are we talking about?
Oh, there you. I was wondering where someone who would talk came. No, I'm trying to find the next.
Which show is it?
It's called From, and it's by creators of Lost, and it's very similar.
Two of the creators of Lost. It's similar, but they've actually got the story structure down pat. They've got 5 seasons that they've already got written. Yeah, I know the battery's going low, darling. You just put on charge.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I've that's what my other channel's about is From. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll have to.
I know that.
I'll start it tomorrow.
Yeah, because Zax is on Nadia's channel reviewing From, so I try to catch them when I can.
Is it like fantasy sci-fi-ish or something like that?
It's very much like Lost.
Oh, okay, so we can cover it.
Yeah, there's mystery. There's a lot of crossover when it comes to lore, because a lot of the themes and everything tie into ancient mythologies.
Mm-hmm.
Literally to the point where we're talking about fays and fairies, and there's even a hint to, at the end of it all, a character being left in a tree named Leaf. So
okay, don't tell me anymore, please, because I'm going to start watching it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It just
its 3rd season. I literally binged it over 3 days because Mad and Grant were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
how many seasons are out now?
This is the middle of the 3rd season.
Okay. And they release it episodic, like weekly?
Yes, they do.
Oh, cool.
And you might be able to check if you have Amazon.
That's what
Prime.
I was going to look at.
Yeah, I think that's where I watched the first 2 seasons.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I can't find anything.
And I travel to New Zealand on a weekly basis to watch the 3rd season.
I like to go to New Zealand to watch The Almighty Johnsons. I wish that show never ended. I loved it.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of it.
So
well, you can blame the New Zealand government.
Yeah,
getting that shut down.
So the premise is you got these brothers, and they're born and raised in New Zealand, but their ancestors came from Norway, or Viking-esque place. I would say Norway. And every generation there could be like they can
No, it's me. We're trying to click at the same time. I'm sorry.
Hello, Teresa. I was just gonna say real quick about the Almighties, and then we'll say hello to you real fast. But the Almighty Johnson, so they on their like 18th birthday or 21st birthday, some of them will take on this new persona of one of the ancient Viking gods, and like the main character is oh my god, the father, the one-eyed father,
Odin.
Thank you. Jeez. I'm tired, but he becomes Odin and he's looking for his Freya the whole time, and it's just like one brother is like a Loki-esque, one is like the god of love, and they are themselves, but they also have some of the memories of the other one and powers. So it was look it up. It's a kind of a cheaply made series, but it's a fun series, and you'll know at least one or two of the actors. Hello, cool. Teresa.
Oh, hey kids.
Sorry about that.
My mom called, so we've been watching some of the returns.
Yeah.
Very happy with Texas and Florida. They're doing.
What about Pennsylvania with our 80,000 Amish voting?
That would be quite epic, but yeah, we're not going to know.
It's happening.
It's happening.
80,000
Amish showed up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't doubting the existence of the Amish, but just as far as the results from Pennsylvania.
I hate my state. I would love to see us go red once in a long, long time. You know what blows my mind? Like
day in hell where my state.
Same as yours. Connecticut, Illinois, New York, we suck. And it's so weird because when I was a kid, I always remember Colorado being red. And it was like all these hippies and people from California moved in, and now it's like the bluest of blues.
Yeah.
What's up, Matt? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, different time, different era. But I've done both of my family in Florida and me. We've done our duty to king and country, and
amen.
That's all I can do. We've solid red and just praying. I don't think we're going to know anything. I think it's going to be a very long week because they're going to. This time last year, or last election, we were going through exactly what we're going through right now. And then all of a sudden, at like 11 o'clock at night, they're like, oh, I guess we're going to stop counting. And then everything got weird. Mm-hmm. So we haven't gotten yet to the witching hour where something weird's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened last time. It was like, we're shutting down. Oh, wait a minute. We came back and it completely flipped.
Exactly.
I took my daughter to vote. She loved it. And then we had a cookie booth for Girl Scouts outside of one of the other voting ones, and my wife hurt her back, so I had to go with the girls. And this woman, it's just you people are just not informed enough. Like this really nice older white woman, started kind of talking about her views on people, and she's, he's so crass and this and that, and he said they should shoot Liz Cheney in the head, and I'm like, did you actually watch what he said, or is that what they told you? And I just kind of like stepped back after that because she already voted. But I was like, if you listen to what he actually said, he was talking about how her family has made money off the backs and deaths of American youth in wars we shouldn't have been in. It's just they got the news can twist whatever they want, and these older people they believe CNN's being truthful, or MSNBC, or even Fox. And I like that younger generations.
They still think it's the days of Walter Cronkite, unfortunately.
They really do. They really do.
We got to trust what they say.
Yep.
You know what's extra, ironic is that people like her and even our parents were the ones who told us not to believe what we see in the television.
Right. Dude, you're right.
Yeah.
And we were raised with, look what happened in Germany. Don't let it happen again.
Right.
And And my parents were, grew up in the 60s. I was born in 71, and they were very much the fighting against a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
But all of them are running blue.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Thank you for jumping in. It's good to see you.
Yeah, we started talking and then we kept talking. So you know how that can go.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
Oh dear. But I mean, I still suspect we're not going to know anything because they're going to be waiting. I think that's my opinion, unless just suddenly everything just pulls in one direction. And I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. What do we do about people that don't think?
No, right. Well, they just follow, and that goes with people that voted for the same person I voted for. There are people that just listen to like what Fox tells them, and like I like to see both sides. Rarely I even watch the news anymore, but different podcasters, more liberal, a little more left, libertarian, and just see what they're saying. It helps you get a better understanding of what's going on, and I think more people should be doing that. That's why it seems a lot more, I think they said Gen Z males are a lot more conservative than the prior two generations at their age. So that's
big update thing.
okay.
Someone is projected to win North Carolina.
That's a big one. That's a big one he needed.
Yeah.
So is he projected?
I heard that he was projected early on.
Yeah.
Is that a dude or a chick?
Yeah, right.
It is a dude.
A dude.
Well, and it's closer in Virginia than I thought it would be.
It's only 30% votes there, though, so it's still very early.
Yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, it's funny how they could tell that so early on, and they usually get it right.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, right now, Virginia is at 55%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think in some cases they use other data, like obviously Illinois is just going to go blue, so it doesn't even matter. They just project it right away. There was like 1% in, and they called Illinois for the check.
Well, they did the same thing for Delaware as well. It had 0.2%, and it was already changed. It was called.
Yeah. Well,
it's 52% in North Carolina now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
50. I think it's about 55% votes.
Yeah.
Reporting, but then again, they use the amount of total people that are in the state that are eligible to vote, and then they have a 10% swing with that either way. So
yeah.
And
I think
someone is also reporting that England has voted for Trump.
That's fantastic. I guarantee you there's a bunch of other people across the country that are putting their votes in, or at least their hopes and dreams.
Across the pond. Well, I saw someone say that if the man wins, that maybe English people could take refuge over here.
They need it.
It's going nuts over there. I never thought I would see that in England.
I don't know if you know this, but the land that you guys are at was once like a safe haven from the tyranny of the English government.
Yeah, so
it could be.
This will be 2.0. 2.0. Come on over.
Yeah.
And this time I don't have to waste a bunch of awesome tea.
Yeah. Well, hey, I've got good tea here. And hey, speaking of which, I had to go dip into my Norwegian chocolate thing, and it's something called Quick.
Is that what you call Stig?
Yeah, Norwegian chocolate.
Yeah, he's black. Yes, he's been fooling you all along. No,
there's such thing as white chocolate. You're racist.
Well, there is
white chocolate's not actually
I do
chocolate,
have white chocolate. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's oh god, what's white chocolate? Cocoa
it's
butter.
It's the fat from it. It comes from the same plant, yet they
Does
want to
it?
say it's not chocolate. It makes zero fucking sense.
Racist.
Yeah, but it's like the
when you
cocoa butter.
ferment
It's
the
all
chocolate,
the fat
it's
part
split.
of the chocolate, though.
Yes,
It's all the
it
fat part of
splits
the
into
chocolate.
two things. One of it is the stuff that you use. That's the bitter, disgusting stuff that turns your beautiful white chocolate dark, and then you've got the fats, which is the part that you actually like and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got no, it's not chocolate.
Well,
Bastards.
either way, there was no white chocolate in this. It was
Segregated.
It was good chocolate. It was what I needed. Well, because my mom's sitting over there, and I'm like, it kind of drives you crazy because you can't predict, and they're all sitting there going, well, if this county does this and that does that. But once they called Florida and once they called Texas, it's like, okay, we've done our duty.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else is in the hands of whatever God you believe in or don't believe in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's
the right one.
No matter who wins tonight, you still have to realize that being informed and getting involved is important locally.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And if you're not happy with the results, or if you're happy with the results, get involved in your community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a village board, a school board, a park district board. Exactly. Our church has its equivalent of a board of directors. So get involved somewhere. You can do good.
Yeah. And I mean, and I would think, I'm sitting here in Texas. The idea that I could control or influence California or Maine or Washington State is the same as if I were living in Japan and thought I could influence India. I mean, it's far away, different values, different ways of looking at things, and I can't control it.
Right.
So
I mean, we'll be like, if you try to, you'll end up like these crazy liberal people that just like scream at babies. Did you see that one? Like a 2-year-old girl, and the woman, she ran just screaming at the child, and even like people that were on her side like pushed her away. Like,
yeah, there was the black one behind her that looked at her. Yeah, that's a baby.
Yeah.
It's like you nutcase.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a nutcase, which is why I'm going to be a hermit eating chocolate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everyone should have chocolate tonight. Tonight is a free night for everyone to indulge.
I like.
I predicted it when I sent it. I saw it in the flames.
He's like, quick lunch is needed for this woman. It's really good, by the way. Yeah, I mean, our chocolate sucks. I just gotta say that American chocolate sucks.
Yeah,
I like that crocodile one I got from you.
That's true. That was Florida chocolate. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I didn't much care for that snot slime though.
Oh yeah, I sent him a bunch of kind of Mexican here in Texas, we've got a lot of Mexican candy. So yeah, it's basically liquid sugar. And
yeah, thank you for the diabetes.
Yeah, and then he got diabetes right after that.
That's awesome. Oh man. Yeah. But I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I got to be at work early.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry. Well, thank you
for having to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I took that as that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was on comics way too late last night, and I'm not used to staying up late. So I'm going to hit the sack.
Well, think of it this way. You could not have work tomorrow, and that would be a worse thing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how, but it would be. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you, Teresa, for jumping in. I always love having you on. Stig, Grant, Tina, that was fun.
And I think we know who the great other is now.
Well,
it just fits too well.
Yeah, Kirsty Angel says the three-eyed crow is a woman. We'll have
fucking
to
nags enough, so might as well be.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that a little bit more next week.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great night. And remember, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and tell your grandmother to subscribe. Have a great night, everybody. Okay, stop right there before you move on. Welcome to Sporking News Podcast. My name is Scott, and I'm asking you to give me a chance at your subscription. I mean, it is free, so if you hit the button, I'd really appreciate it. What do we talk about here? We talk about anything nerdish, plus anything I think in the world is crazy. You might not agree with my views. That's okay, because here you're allowed to disagree and still be friends, unlike the world around us. Isn't that crazy? We don't have to hate each other because we don't have the same beliefs. What we do have to do is understand that each person is different, and if we give each other an ear and listen instead of thinking about what we're going to say next, we actually might learn something that can change our lives forever. And I'm not saying it will be a comic movie we're covering or a Song of Ice and Fire book that I'm, spewing out about, but you might learn something about yourself. And isn't that the most